There. Where? Why do so many English words sound exactly the same? Even though when we write them, we see that they're different. And they have different meanings too. Why is it so confusing? I'm Christopher Huntley from chrisamericos.com. I've been teaching English since 2009, and in this video, I'm going to tell you how to understand different words that sound the same but are written differently. For example, words like heir and air. That's right, they're both pronounced exactly the same. Now, I need to remind you that I'm an American English speaker, and my accent is from the United States. Other English speakers might say things a little differently. But first we have air, A-I-R, and that's something that we breathe. Air, it helps us live. But then we have H-E-I-R, and that's also pronounced air. Like, he is the heir to the throne, or he is the king's heir. And the heir is the person who will become the king when the king dies. So maybe the king has a son, and when the king dies, the son will become the new king. The son is the king's heir. Not the king's heir, but the king's heir. The next two words sound exactly the same, but are written differently. Like band, B-A-N-D. This is a music group. It's a group of people who play music together. They play different instruments. You probably have a favorite band. Or sometimes we might call this a music group. But then there's another word that sounds the same. Banned. And this is from the verb to ban, which means to make a rule that people cannot do something. For example, maybe in your country, there's a ban on smoking cigarettes in restaurants. It means there's a rule that you cannot do it. And if there is a rule like this, we can say smoking cigarettes in restaurants is banned. Now, learning new words is great, but you have to actually use them. And the fastest way to become fluent in English is to actually speak. That's why I want to invite you to my free Fluency Masterclass, where I'm going to show you the entire method that you need to follow to become fluent as quickly as possible. Click the link under this video to sign up for the masterclass right now. Now let's talk about two other words that sound the same but are written differently. We have blue, B-L-U-E. And that's a color, like my jacket is blue. But then we have B-L-E-W, and that's also blue. It's the past tense of the verb to blow. And in the past, we say blew, like his soup was hot, so he blew on his soup. The next two words both sound like sell, but one is written with a C, and one is written with an S. When we write it with an S, sell means to give something to another person, and that person gives you money for it. They pay you because you are selling something to them. You make a sale. You sell. But when we write it with a C, it means something completely different. And I can think of three different meanings that this might have. One is in biology. In your body, you have cells. They're a small part that's alive. But the word cell, written with a C, could also be a small room that is locked, like a jail cell or a prison cell. And in today's world, we also have cellular phones. And sometimes we say cell like phone. In fact, the phones that we use today, we can call cell phones. And that's cell with a C, not with an S. If you sell phones with an S, that means that people give you money for phones. But if you're talking about cell phones with a C, then you're just talking about phones. Let's go to the next words. These words are pronounced days. So D-A-Y-S is when we have more than one day, right? Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. These are days of the week. But when we spell it D-A-Z-E, this is a verb, to daze someone. But more frequently, we use it in the passive. We say to be dazed by something, or to be in a daze. And this basically means to be shocked and you can't focus on anything else. For example, after he won the game, he was in a daze. Now, the next two words can be very confusing, and I've heard a lot of people laugh about this. They both sound like die, but D-I-E is when a person is not alive anymore, right? They stop living, they die, and we put them in the ground. But DYE is something completely different. This is to change the color of something using a special type of paint called dye. So dye is a type of coloring or paint that we can use to change the color of something. And we can use the verb to dye something, and this means to change the color. We can say, he dyed his shirt blue, or she dyed her hair pink. So if someone tells you, I dyed my hair, it does not mean that they cut off all of their hair. It means that they changed the color of their hair. And before we go to the next words, real quick, we're trying to get to 500,000 subscribers on this channel, and we really need your help. So click that subscribe button under this video, and I promise you'll love what you get next. Now we need to talk about these two words, which are both pronounced feet. When we have F-E-E-T, then it's a part of your body, right? Like your hands and your feet. But when it's written F-E-A-T, this means a challenge, usually something that you have completed. So maybe someone says, I just ran 50 miles, or however many kilometers that might be. And you say, that's quite a feat. That's quite a challenge that you've overcome, or a great accomplishment you've achieved. So usually it's something that is difficult to do that you have done or that you can do. A great feat. We might say landing on the moon is one of humanity's greatest feats. That sounds strange, right? Feats, but it's correct. Next, we have find and find. So when we spell it F-I-N-D, this means when you look for something and oh, there it is, to find something, right? But when we write it F-I-N-E-D, this is from the verb to fine, which means to charge money because a person did something that they were not supposed to do. They broke a rule. For example, we can say, if you throw your trash on the ground, then you can get fined. The government can fine you. This means they can tell you that you have to pay some money because you did this thing. So find and find. The next one might surprise you because both of these words are pronounced flower. I think you know what F-L-O-W-E-R spells. That's a flower that you can smell, that you can pick, that you can grow. But flour, spelled F-L-O-U-R, is something that you use when you're baking. Like when you're making bread. It looks like a white powder, and you might need to do something with it before you can make it turn into bread. So flour and flour. You don't put flowers in your flour. I don't know, maybe you do. Let me know in the comments. The next one is kind of funny. It's hey, and also hey. When we write it H-E-Y, this means hi or hello. But when we write H-A-Y, this is something that's like grass that horses eat. And they both sound exactly the same. That's confusing, right? So the next time you're walking down the street and someone says, hey, you can think, is he talking about horse food? That's probably not what they're talking about. But sometimes native speakers will make a joke. And when you say hey, they will say, hay is for horses because of hey and hey. Yay! Now let's go to the next two words, which are both pronounced new. We have N-E-W, which means not old, new. But then we also have K-N-E-W, and this is the past tense of the verb to know. I know it, I knew it. If you knew it, why didn't you say it? But remember, when you want to tell someone that you know what they are talking about and you understand what they're saying, you should say, I know, not I knew. Because if it's in the past, it means it's finished. So you usually are going to say, I know what you're talking about, or I know that place, or I already know that. We don't need to say, I knew that. So knew and knew. Next, let's talk about mail. M-A-I-L. This is something that someone sends you, like a letter in an envelope. It's delivered to you. Maybe you have a mailbox where someone puts the mail. Yes, we're talking about the post, the mail. You've got mail. But then we also have male, M-A-L-E. And this is not female. This is part of biology. There are men and there are women. And we're not going to talk about biology today, but usually a man is male and a woman is female. And that's all I'm going to say about that because I don't want to get hate mail. So I'm wishing everybody peace. And that's the next word. Peace. Peace, or which one is which? So if we write it P-E-A-C-E, then that's peace. Like we're not fighting, we're not arguing, we're not at war, we are at peace. But if we write it P-I-E-C-E, then this means a part of something. It's not all of it, it's just a piece of it. Let me give you a piece of advice. Moving on to the next words, pear and pear. P-E-A-R is a type of fruit. Yummy. P-A-I-R is two. Now, a lot of people get confused with the words couple and pair because they both mean two. Well, when we talk about people and we say a couple, this means boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, partner and partner. This is what they're talking about. A couple, if we're talking about people, is a romantic relationship. But when we use the word pair, it doesn't mean that. And we can say something like a new pair of shoes. But we would say Mike and Sarah are a couple. The confusing part is that you can also say he has a couple of shoes. So what's the difference between a couple of shoes and a pair of shoes? Well, a pair of shoes are two shoes that go together. You have the left foot and the right foot. But a couple of shoes just tells us that there's two shoes. Now let's go to the next word. Actually, you know what? More words isn't going to make you fluent. What's really going to make you fluent is practicing speaking regularly. And I'm going to tell you all about the fastest method to become fluent in my free fluency masterclass. Click the link under this video to register for the masterclass right now. The next two words are both pronounced poor. P-O-O-R means not rich. A person who does not have a lot of money is poor. But then we have another word too. It's P-O-U-R, and this is a verb, to pour something. It's like when you have water in a cup and you can pour the water into another cup, or you can pour the water in the sink. So if you have a container with liquid, like water, then you can pour that liquid. Our next two words are both pronounced red. R-E-D is a color. If you're really tired, your eyes might be red. But R-E-A-D is also pronounced red. Now you might be saying, Chris, what are you talking about? I thought you were a teacher. How can you say that R-E-A-D is pronounced red? Everybody knows it's pronounced read. To read a book. Yes and yes. So to read a book is in the present, but when we say this in the past, we pronounce it read. It's spelled the same, it has the same letters, but it's pronounced differently. Hey, I didn't make English, I'm just helping you understand it. So I read a book, present tense, but yesterday I read a book, pronounced exactly the same as the color red. I know you love English. But now let's talk about right and right. R-I-G-H-T. This has two main meanings. First, we can go left or we can go right. This is my right hand, but on your screen, you might see it on the left. But when we say right and spell it W-R-I-T-E, this is something that we do with a pencil or a pen. We can write words. We can write a letter. So right and right. All right, let's go to the last words. And these ones are maybe the most surprising. Actually, a lot of native speakers still make mistakes with these words and don't really understand the difference because they sound exactly the same, but they are different, and that's important. And all three of these words are pronounced there. There, there, there. First we have T-H-E-R-E. Not here, there. It's a location. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Then we have T-H-E-I-R. And this means that something belongs to them. They have a house. It is their house. They have a car. It is their car. And then the last one is T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. And the apostrophe tells us that it's just replacing a letter. And we see this apostrophe and we know that this is two words put together. They are. So we can say they are home, they're home. They are happy to meet you, they're happy to meet you. They all sound the same, and that's confusing. But now you know what they mean, and you know the difference. So the next time you hear it, you don't have to be confused. If this video was useful, press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment down below and tell me what you liked. Also, leave a comment and tell me what you want the next video to be about. We keep making more videos for you. And if you want the fastest way to become fluent in English, sign up for my free Fluency Masterclass by clicking the link under this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.